America's at a point right now where they're watching on podcasts and shows and future media companies. I cannot tell you how many people were approached by on different media companies. Hey, we'd like to do this. We'd like to do that. We'd like to do this, right? Everybody is having conversations right now in the media space. Rob, if you can go to the previous story, go back. No, you're right there. No, go back where you write. Go back to one page, the stories. Go back one page, Rob. Yeah. So look at the top one that says, who thinks the free press is worth $250 million? So Bari Weiss, okay, goes out there sitting down with David Ellison. Okay, click on the story, Rob, if you could. CBS News. So who thinks the free press is worth $250 million? Now, Bari Weiss has done some great interviews. And I think she was part of Twitter Files, if I'm not mistaken. And then she did a bunch of different things. Speaker Johnson interviewed a bunch of them. Rob, if you can go a little bit lower to read the story. So they're at a point that they're saying, we think our company is worth $250 million, right? And 1969, NBC canceled TV series Star Trek. 56 years later, the franchise, 13 movies. How is this going to the Bari Weiss story? Go a little bit lower, Rob, to make sure. Okay, there it is. What shape or advisory role ultimately takes it still up for grabs? But her reported asking price is a $250 payday for her news site, the Free Press, which changed its name from Common Sense and which entirely bypassed a descriptive title like No Old Rich White Guy. After further review, it turns out you were right all along. That's what she's asking for. She can ask for that, no problem, right? Saagar, Rob, if you can go to the clip that they have, and these guys have done a great job, the two of them. Politically, they disagree. I've been on their show before when we talked about Bernie Sanders 6 years ago. I think I was on there. One time we had a conversation about capitalism, and she was a Bernie supporter at the time. Here's what he has to say about the ask of $250 million. Go for it.
That's my point.
The reason Tim Dillon's sketch hit so hard is because he's right. The whole value comes from her willingness to put an intellectual sheen on absolute monstrosities.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's in writing. The Dylan Byers, who's, again, I know this may seem tedious, but this is important for all you guys to understand, that there are people like us, they're all, listen, Tim Pool's not out there asking for $250 million, all right? And he gets 15 times the number of views. But he has more views than we do. PBD, any of these other folks, none of these folks are out there. You can think whatever you want about them, but, they're running their own businesses and they're not out there trying to be bought for billions and billions or whatever. And the point, though, in the Bari Weiss case is that it is entirely an intellectual sheen on pro-Israel and pro-Zionism. If you read about it, David Ellison and others are genuinely only want to buy the free press to support Israel. That's it. They want to support and put, what's her name? Bari on the CBS news board as an ombudsman.
Yeah, so she's gonna fill the role as the TikTok IDF
as
lady.
the censor.
Same thing, but for
Do you know why this is crazy?
Okay,
do you know
can
why
pause
this is
it right
crazy?
there. I have my thoughts on this, but Tom, I'm going to go to you first. So Bari Weiss, $250 million. That's her ask. That's what she thinks the company is worth. He's saying this could be another leg to help out pro-Zionist, pro-Israel. What are your thoughts about this breakdown of what he had to say?
First of all, I'm reacting the same as Saagar is. I'm kind of stunned. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, but we saw Skydance jump around, billion-dollar increments jumping around on the acquisition of Paramount. And, Russia interfered with the election. Now we have a new one that is Trump paid a bribe, or Trump was paid a bribe in the form of the CBS settlement so that
Stephen Colbert?
The merger would go through.
Yeah.
And that he fired Stephen Colbert, but he didn't like him. No, Stephen Colbert got fired because CBS and Paramount finally came to their senses and said, it doesn't work. Sure. Nobody's watching. And this is freaking expensive. And the contract's up. And we're merging, and we're looking for profits. You know what? That one's gone. He's got to go. But guess what? In denial, they do that. Now, you circle all that around. Why am I bringing that up? It's because the value that was being paid there, $250 million, is not much more. And if they're really looking to place her, like buy the whole thing and then place her into CBS News, they're trying to reach in to the to the bloggers, which have become podcasters, which have become very influential, and they're trying to put one of those in CBS to bolster it. Remember, what they're trying to do is avoid the ongoing decline of CBS News. And so what do? Hey, what if we buy one of these companies, PBD? What if we plug it into CBS News? Will everybody come watch because now we have one of the popular conservative people here? I see what's going on there. And the other side, I think Saagar's onto something. Does somebody also say, well, and this also could be an opportunity to put a pro-Israel voice on CBS News, which has been leaning in favor of Palestinian protests and supporting Palestinian protests and not talking about the risk to students. And now the entire Ivy League, except Dartmouth, is under investigation by the Trump administration for those kind of anti-Semitic, not anti-Semitic by the administration, but allowing anti-Semitic things to be happening on campus and not stepping in to protect students and protect Jewish people and protect Jewish speakers, professors there. So that's what I see. CBS News plugging this in. They get a little Israel out of it. They get a little podcast out of it. Does David Ellison ultimately pay $250 million for it? And Saagar's right. This podcast and others running businesses. And we think we do the best job.
Yeah. So that was your point?
Yeah.
Oh, you're done. Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. So, on a story like this, I looked at HuffPo when Arianna Huffington sold HuffPo, what she sold it for. She sold it to AOL years ago. Their top-line revenue was around $60 million. They sold over 5 times revenue. They sold for $315 million. They sold 10 times earnings, okay, but 5 times revenue. So you're doing $60 million a year. AOL came in and said, I'll pay you $315 million. They picked up HuffPo. The company's dropped. They don't have the same amount of revenue. They're about to lay off a bunch of different editors right now. They announced in January 2025 it would cut about 30 editorial roles, representing 22% of the newsroom, which means 22% means 1/5. That means they have 150 people. A fifth is being fired. Say, 30 is going to be fired. They're letting go. So HuffPo's not getting the same amount of viewership they used to get back in the days in 2000. Back in 2008, 9, 10, HuffPo was like the place to be. It was doing great. I think I sat down with her right after she sold the business. We had a great conversation together. And I even think she ran for governor one time, going up against Arnold. I even think she debated Arnold one time for a governor race, if I'm not mistaken. Can you verify that? I may be fully wrong, and I'm thinking about somebody else. But did she ever? No, I don't know if she ran. Did she ever? No. Did she run for? No, that was somebody else, I think, that ran. But let me see here. Did she? Debate some conversations. Who was the person that he debated that was a media space? I don't know if it was her. It could have been somebody else. But the point is, Free Press today. What is Free Press's top-line revenue, Tom? Do we know?
I've not seen what I would call as reliable disclosure.
So top-line revenue. Let's see where it's at right now. What is Free Press's top-line revenue? Can you see that? So Free Press's reported total revenue. Are you joking?
Oh, man.
So if they got a $6 million revenue, and somebody pays 5 times revenue, it's a $30 million business, not a $250 million business. So if we use comparisons, like how you sell on a house, you say comp, my house is worth $2 million. Why? Because next door neighbor is 100 square feet smaller than mine, and that's sold for $1.9 million. I believe I'm a $2 million business. Okay, cool.
You can do the math.
Yeah. But if HuffPo was sold at $250 million, at a $60 million revenue, 1/10 of Free Press, they're worth at best $30 million. At best is what they're worth, is $30 million. But by the way, guess what? I'm not upset at her asking for $250 million. If somebody is willing to pay $250 million, guess what? Good payday for her. She went up and made her $250 million, whatever the numbers are that other people pick up. We don't have a problem with that. But the point of where I'm going with this, we went from the story of Epstein to the story of, and by the way, the people that are forcing the Epstein story to be in there is actually not mainstream media. Believe it or not, the people that are making Epstein story stay there is who? Podcasters. Podcasters are now becoming like, give me a break. Can you guys stop talking about it? Why are you talking about this? Then it goes to Russia. Then he goes to Cuomo, who was one of the faces, saying, I was wrong. We don't know what it is. Maybe we'll invite him and have him on the podcast to have a conversation with him. I'm sure something's going to get scheduled here to have him on and play the clip opening and saying, what were you wrong about? And then you go into Bari Weiss, $250 million. Saagar saying, I don't know if it's good or not. Who knows what's going to happen there? And this leads me to the next one. I got a call. I won't disclose the name until the story comes out because I'm trying to see if this is going to be a hit piece or not. I got a call from a very well-known New York Times person that she wanted to have a conversation with me. And we came down. We ended up having a 3-hour conversation about a lot of different things. And I sat there and she says, I'm going to be recording this conversation. I said, I'm also going to be recording the conversation. No problem. So everything we talked about was all recorded that I have. Everything. And we talked about industry. What do you think about this company? What do you think about that company? What do you think about this company? What do you think about that company? Back and forth. I was told her right off the bat, everybody told me to not meet with you. I told her that she'll probably say this herself. I probably told her that 10 times, that everybody told me not to meet with you. I said, they told me it's not a good idea. They said to shun away. They said you're the worst. They said you go after people. They say you don't tell the truth. They say you lie. They say you exaggerate. How could you, who said that? I said, I'm not going to give you a single name. But all I'm telling you is people that I trust, that I have a relationship with, they don't trust you. But I'm willing to sit down with everybody and have a very basic rule. You'll always have access to me if you're respectful to me. The moment you exaggerate and misrepresent what I said, you'll never get a hold of me. It's very simple how I work. If I can't get a hold of you and we're having a relationship together, and then you want me to be accessible to you, I'll always be accessible to you. The moment you take that for granted, we don't need a relationship. I'm moving on and going to a different place. And this applies to people in the media space because the media people all talk to each other. But for whatever reason, it is very nasty and ugly in this space. It's so ugly and nasty in a very different way because everyone's like, well, that guy's podcast is slowing down and this guy's podcast is this and that guy's stream is and that guy's – everyone's talking like that. Summer is here. Future looks bright gear. We have the matching shirts with the hats, gang. So, Rob, if you can go to it where people can see it. No, you just had it go if you go back one where it shows the homepage right there. So to match in, if you can shop the collection, the hats, the shirts, the colors matching with each other. This is the shirt that Vinny wears, the black Future Looks Bright shirt right there with the silver one.
I love that. That one
Every time I see it, because that's elevated, right, off the shirt.
It's raised up the shirt.
It's sick. So if you go up a little bit, I don't know if that one's an elevated or not. Go a little bit higher up with the hats. The other way, Rob, if you go, those are the ones that are elevated. These are so sick. Look at that. Matching. So summertime, go sports your future. Yesterday, we're walking on Vegas. Guys got Valuetainment shirt on, Valuetainment hats on. It's awesome. Now we're seeing it all over the place. And I'm getting a bunch of pictures being sent my way. So go to VTmerch.com, place your order. And number 2, we were at Gaylord last week, Orlando, at the conference where the Vault Conference will be held. And at the hotel where the Vault Conference will be held. We are officially 35 days away from nearly 12,000 people coming together at the Vault Conference at the Gaylord. The hotel looks amazing. The number of networking opportunities, absolutely insane. Whether you're in AI, real estate, private equity, you're trying to raise money, you're trying to deploy money to some people, great place to come. If you haven't yet bought your tickets, the top 2-tier tickets are about to sell out. Of course, you can get your general tickets, but the best tickets are typically the executive and the CEO and founder for you to sit closely and network with others. There's going to be a lot of big announcements that we'll be making. Tony Robbins will be there. Martha Stewart will be there. David Falk will be there. And a couple other surprises that will only be revealing while you're there. If you haven't yet registered, go to thevaultconference.com. Once again, to thevaultconference.com. I believe the prices are increasing this Friday. So get your tickets before the prices increase by the end of this week and get your hotels as well at the Gaylord because everybody will be there. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.